We welcome all the Srimahans, Mahants, Kotaris, Tanedars, Samajis, Satsangis, Balasans, visitors and viewers to this Vaakyaartha Sadhas conducted by the Balasans of Nithyananda Gurukul. Today's topic for Vaakyaartha Sadhas is today's satsang. Now we'll be chanting the Shanti mantra of the Katha Upanishad.
Om Sahana Bhavato Sahano Bhunakto Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
I have a question. How the Shanti mantra of Katha Upanishad is the context of Gurukul?
What I understand is like the Shanti mantra being the context of Gurukul is like it tells that both teacher and the student, both of them grow together and they support each other, and there will be no enmity in between them. So the whole thing is based on education. It's not about the teacher being high or dominant and all, and it's about the student, both of them exploring into different dimensions of themselves. So there's nothing like someone is higher and someone is lower at all. So this is what I understand by the Shanti mantra being the context of Gurukul.
What I feel is in education centric, like there more education happens than like just a teacher coming to the class and just writing on the blackboard and you're not getting anything from the blackboard. So what I feel is when it's like education centric, it's more about education, how much you're learning, what are you going to learn, and rather than like having hatred towards the teacher or like hating the whole class.
Adding a point, what I understand is the difference between being education centric and being teacher centric is like how Swami explained. Like when you're education centric, the whole context will just about like more and more of reinvention and more and more of education to happen. Where even whatever the teacher might be knowing, that teacher will just provide the basic framework, but the student will do everything else. The student will be allowed to explore himself in different dimensions. Whereas when it is teacher centric, it's like teacher being the dominant one, and the student is like bound and restricted to know only whatever the teacher knows, like how the outer world education system is right now. Whereas like in the Gurukul system, the teachers just provide like the basics and all, and the students are allowed to explore into different dimensions of themselves. So this is what I understand as the difference between being education centric and being teacher centric.
I just wanted to add my experience. Like when we started learning chanting in Gurukul, like how we were just explaining, we learn it like when we are provided the basic material, we just start exploring more and more into it. So like how we started learning chanting, we started just learning with Rudram, but now we have learned so much more. So what I feel is we just picked up the very basic things in chanting. We just learned how to read, how to pronounce the words, and with that we started learning new things. So what I feel is when you have the passion for seeking, you'll be able to learn anything you want. That's what I feel.
I want to share an experience. Like when in the previous year when we were having our studies, I was not at all interested in maths. Because of that, not interested in maths, I was literally started having so much hatred towards math. But soon when I completed with the hatred, then when this year when I started learning maths, I was really clear. Whenever I had a doubt, when I go ask my teacher, she explains, then I start learning from it. Now I am really feeling complete with the patterns, and the system here, the education system here is really not just like simply writing in the blackboard and simply copying it down without any explanation if you have a doubt. Here if we want to understand, we go ask our teacher, we learn, then we ourselves take worksheets and do it.
What I think is education centric is when the teacher just sets the base for whatever you're learning, and then you have the freedom to basically take that and go deeper and deeper into the subject as you wish. And what I think is when you have that freedom, you'll be able to gain a more deeper insight in whatever subject you're learning.
I want to share my experience. So when I came to Gurukul, actually I don't know to read English properly, and I don't know any chantings, and almost zero thing. But after coming to Gurukul, actually, I want to learn everything. But actually, when I wanted to learn everything, I was not able to read. Then I read or understand anything. But when actually I contemplated and saw that why am I not able to read and not able to do other things. So I understood that only when you have the deep interest and if you want to learn, when you will learn. But actually I had that context that I should learn more and go prove outside that I know everything and just got prove himself. But when I said to my body that I need learn everything and enrich the world. So when I set that context, I was able to read and able to learn chanting more and more. When I set that context, when I immediately set the context, I started understanding and started learning more and more. So from this, I understood that when you set the right context and do anything, and you can achieve whatever you want. And like in Gurukul, we just not only the teacher or they come and teach us. We just start picking up everything. Means example, if we are having an instrument, so without even a teacher, we just or our own wish, we just start hitting and just start learning. So from this, I understood that not only with the teacher or someone's help you can do anything. With your own help, you can just start doing anything, whatever you want.
I want to share an experience how I made it to Varanasi. Like when before Swami was telling about Cambodia, so I was also interested to go. Went and started asking my parents I want to go. But because I had a wrong context of escaping from classes, I was not at all able to make it. Okay, then and sat. Then soon after Swami started speaking about Varanasi, that I sat and aligned my context to the right space. Then when I went and asked my parents, at least I want to go to Varanasi, the parents told, no obstacle, you can go. What I understand from this is, like when you have a right context for doing something, Mahadeva showers it on you.
I have a question. Swamiji told in today morning satsang that the more people there are, the dharma will be kept alive. Can someone explain me how?
What I feel is like when you live around people who are following the four tattvas, when you fall down from the context, they'll be constantly reminding you to be in the space, aligned back to your context. This is what I feel.
Adding a point, what I feel is like when more people are there, like for example our satsanga and Gurukul, like there's no inauthenticity which is like in here because each one of us catches each other and we hold a space of the right context to happen in Gurukul. So what I feel is the more people are there, when more people are there, like for example only if you are there, like you may think, if you wake up in the morning, you may think, oh, why should I go to yoga in the morning? But if you have satsanga around you, they will enrich you and they will make sure you're coming to yoga. So what I feel is that when you have a satsanga around you, the satsanga itself will make sure that you're authentic and keep the context and dharma alive.
Adding to what he just said, what I feel is when there is like a big group which is following a dharma, we all will be carrying the same space. So like how Tattva Maharaj just explained, when we are carrying a space which is like same in all of us, we'll never let the other go down. Even if someone goes down, we'll be constantly enriching them and helping them to stand up by what is dharma. So what I feel is when there is a big group following the dharma, having the same context, there will be no dilution. That's what I feel.
Adding a point, what I feel is that when we are living with a lot of people with like one particular goal, so automatically even when they're continuously doing things, even we'll also start feeling inspired to do it more and more and more. And whatever space they're in, it will be just a reflection of our space. So more and more, like if you see completion in all of them, that means you're so complete. And this will inspire you more and more. If any inauthenticity is shown also, it will not stand for a long time, it will just go off. So especially when you live in the space of Swamiji and the satsanga around him, automatically you will be pulled up more and more, and finally you'll just reach that enlightenment and you'll just explore more and more different dimensions of yourself.
What I think is when you live in a big group or when you have a satsanga around you, you'll always have people, even if you go into incompletion or do something inauthentic, you'll always have people around you to raise you up to authenticity and completion. So what I think is when you live in a big group, that space will constantly be there. Everyone will be holding the same space, and authenticity and completion will be.
Just adding the point, like when I used to be in outer world, means like I used to be like my parents and my friends. So because even when I used to be in authentic or powerlessness, they used to pamper me, and just I used to continue being inauthentic and those things. But when after I come into Gurukul, the space that everyone holds, like how Swamiji tells that we hold that space is the high space. So when everyone's hold that high space, so everyone start, even if one person goes in incompletion, so as a group everyone helps them and make sure there's the space of completion. So from this I understood that even when we used to be in outer world, there is 0% help. Even if we are powerlessness or in depression, there is 0% to help us. But here in Gurukul, even though if you are going to powerlessness, everyone help us and make sure everyone are complete and everyone are authentic. So from this I understood that if you want to have a right context in your life and live as per what Mahadeva tells, you can come and join Gurukul.
I want to share my experience. Before coming to Gurukul in Pratik's whole school, the teacher will come, she will just give the lesson and just say us to write in book and go off. But in Gurukul, they'll explain about that lesson and they'll make it easy that we can learn.
I want to share an experience. Like when I was in while I was in my old school, when I learned something, because I have fear with maths teacher, again I'll start becoming more and more, well, I'll forget to bring my books. Then the maths teacher will hit me and whatever, she'll make me go run around in the ground. So, but after coming to Gurukul, like when I really put all my interest in maths, I was easily able to learn, and here we learn from this space of the non-violence, and we understand what they teach.
I want to share an experience. Before coming to Gurukul, when I used to study in my outer world school, that time I used to study in wrong context and all. I used to study only for marks and all like that. But after coming to Gurukul, I started to learn with the right context by Swamiji's blessings, and now because I am in right context, I am able to do very nice than how I was studying in my outer school. By this, I understand if you come to Gurukul, you will get a right context for studying and you will learn everything. And if you be in outer world, you will be unable to learn.
I want to share my experience. Before coming to Gurukul, I used to have my moral teacher, the value education teacher in my school. He used to come and he used to speak so many different things. He used to tell us like always speak the truth. He used to tell so many different things. But he'll never live all those, so I never even felt like living it. I never knew the context for living it. But after coming and joining Gurukul, for each and every action, the context was set. So because of that, and the satsanga around me, the satsanga in Gurukul was continuously supporting it, and Swamiji was continuously living and showing it. So because of that, I started feeling inspired to live those truths. And even if I just slip out of those truths, and if I don't live it also, continuously satsanga around me will just remind me and make me live that. So what I feel is just by we living around with the satsanga, automatically different possibilities will be revealed with the right context, and we'll be continuously exploring different dimensions of ourselves, and we'll be moving in the right track.
I just want to share my experience. So when I used to study outside in my old school, so when I used to write any assessment, any test, so when I used to write, I used to get in every subject low marks. So when I used to get the low marks, I used to they'll tell that you should go get signature from your parents. So I used to get scared because if I show that low marks, they'll start hitting me and they'll not get anything whatever I ask. But then I'll get scared for going and showing them. So I used to cover something just for showing that only the name and other things, and cover the marks alone with the paper. So I used to do that and get the signature from the parents. So when I used to do that there, but here in the Gurukul, from the time when I joined Gurukul, so even if they keep the weekly assessment or any test, when I used to even get the low mark, I used to tell the teacher I didn't understand and I didn't know anything and I didn't write anything. I just tell them that teach me again. But in the same way, when I used to study in Outwell, I used to be in fear. The kids and my friends, everyone used to even get scared of almost everything. So even I used to get scared. But in Gurukul, everyone means they're not even they're not in the fear. They're just happy and everything. Even if they don't know anything, they just go ask that they didn't understand or they didn't know. But from this, I understood that even though if you don't know anything or if you don't understand, if you just ask them to repeat it again, they'll just make you understand than before how you used to be. So please understand, if you want to realign everything, your cognition and your life, you can come and join the Gurukul.
Okay, I want to share one of my experiences. Before coming to Gurukul, whenever I had a test at my school, I'd sit and study for hours at a time and get so scared and even sometimes like miss the exam or fail the exam. But here, after coming to Gurukul, whenever like last month, we went to write a board exam, and that time I didn't have any fear to write the exam because I knew that I was writing for the context of enriching. I knew that my scores would automatically come nice because Swamiji was there to help me and Swamiji would write through me. Because I wasn't writing for the context of getting good grades but enriching the world with my grades. So what I want to say through this is that when you have the right context for whatever, and when you have the right context to study, and that when you have the right context to study, you'll always get what you want.
I want to share my experience. Before, at 2013, I was making lingas. Then after that, I was making with wrong context. Then after that, so many people were saying that I can make more nice lingas than you. Then after that, I made from the right context. 0% told like that. And it avoid to get broken. So what I understand by this is, if you be intense in your action, it will happen true.
I have a question. What is the essence of the philosophy which is called Nyaya?
What I feel is that like there was a part of the Shat Darshanas. I don't know about this it being a philosophy. I feel it's a part of the Shat Darshanas. I have a question. Today Swamiji told that whatever like master knows, and like when it is completely education centric, then ultimately the disciple will not just know only what the master knows, but will also know many more things. How can that be possible? Because like we learn only whatever we see and we will be able to perceive, right? What did he exactly mean by that? Can you explain?
For example, today morning satsang, Swamiji told that though he just taught us the siddhi of blindfold reading, we also started decoding languages, and we also started reading other languages and scanning bodies. So what I feel is what the master gives is what he gives, and plus the master also gives us and Swamiji also gives us the energy to unlock more and more siddhis in us.
What I think is that even during satsang, for example, Swamiji tells so many truths during satsang. He sort of just sets a base for our experience to happen. What I think is, and when we come to Vaakyaartha and contemplate about all these truths Swamiji talks about in satsang, we gain deeper and deeper understanding about the truths he talks about in satsang, and we experientially live it. We get the deeper understanding to live it. What I think is because when we get the experience to live it, we understand it more deeper, and we get the experience about whatever he taught during satsang.
So what I understood from this is, like, whenever we are living in the space of Swamiji, automatically we'll not just explore into, not just learn whatever he's telling, but also explore into different dimensions of ourselves, and the satsanga around us will constantly remind us about the different possibilities which we have, and we'll be continuously exploring into them. So with this, we come to the conclusion of today's Vaakyaartha Sadhas, and we'll continue to explore into the deeper truths in further Vaakyaartha Sadhas. Now we'll conclude with the Purna Mantra.
Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Satguru Padukarpanamastu.